Hey, what's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. As promised, I will be showing you my exact application form that I used when I was applying for the EPIK program. I also want to advise you that do not copy this, because a lot of people are going to watch this video, and if you guys write all like the same thing, then they're gonna know that you copied from somewhere. You'll see from my application, I think you guys are struggling with the lesson plan and the essays. It's very personal. I talk about things that have actually happened to me and why I want to teach. So if you guys are gonna write the same things that you're gonna Google, like I have a passion for teaching, I love Korea because of K-pop music. I mean, if that's why you like the country, then okay, but if you're just saying it because you Googled it, then I'm pretty sure someone else is doing it as well. So try and make your stories very personal, like why do you really want this job, why do you want to teach, you know, your personal experiences, like who was your favorite teacher, why did you like that teacher. You can bring that into your essays. That makes it like different, and it makes you stand out from the rest of the other applicants. So yeah, this application is 11 pages and I don't want to make this video long, so I'm going to browse through, and if I miss anything then you can comment down below. I'm going to screen record right now. This is a photo that has to be professional. It has white background. I actually went to a professional studio to get this taken, anywhere where they take actually ID photos, and just make sure that you don't have to smile as long as your background is not like busy, you know. So number one, name and passport and photo. So you'll definitely put your last name, your first name, and your middle names, and then you can check this box if you've ever received any legal name change. Number two, your date of birth. You enter your date of birth, as well as your age. Three, your sex, if you're married, and your place of birth. Like you can see here, I was born in Gauteng, because it says province and country, Gauteng, South Africa. I am South African. I don't have any other citizenships. I'm not Korean, and I don't hold any Korean citizenship. So move on. Interview is very important. Your interviews are scheduled according to the Korean time, which is KST. They're only available from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. So list all your available time. Example, M, which is Monday, F, which is Friday. So if you're available Tuesday to Thursday, then you'll write T to T. So this was my available time from 2 to 5 KST, which was around 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. South African time. So yeah, you choose your own time. You need your Skype ID because that's where the interview is held. Remember to put +27 as the South African code when you're using your number. I don't have a second number, and then I put my email address. Then say here it says, have you ever spent time abroad in a country that is not corresponding to the primary citizenship listed in section 421? I said yes. I was in Australia for more than for a period, yeah, more than a month. So you tick here. If no, then you tick no. Then we go to the mailing address. I had my house number and my street name, and then I had my city, which is Ekurhuleni, Gauteng, 1619, South Africa. And then it goes to emergency contacts number. It only gives you one name, so I'd say put the person that usually answers the phone. I had my dad's details here. Remember, again, +27 is the South African code. Then it's your schools. So I have primary. I had my primary school here, which is Gauteng. I started in 2002, finished in 2008, and it was 7 years. I went to high school for 2 years, did my grade 8 and 9, did my grade 10 at my another school for 1 year, then did my grade 11 and 12 at this school. So in total that's 12 years. If you change more schools than I did, then you check this box, and then it will take you, it says here page 6, to continue there. Then it's your university. If you have more than one qualification, you always put the one you did the latest on top. So first two, I have the one I had a information system certificate that I did, that was 1 year, and then after that I did my bachelor's degree in information, majored in information technology, and that was 3 years. And then funny enough, my average is 71 for both. Be careful because they actually do want your transcript, so don't lie about that. Then number 8, you choose here if you have a PGCE or SALTA, whatever certificate you have. Most of you will have the TESOL with International Open Academy. If you have it through my link, then shout out to you. If you don't and are planning to, it's really a cheap certificate. It goes for less than 500 Rand, and I'll link it up somewhere here. Then you write your hours, and if it was in class or online, mostly it will be online, and when you did it. If you have more than one, then you obviously select more. Your current employment, I was an online teacher at NPC Connect in South Africa full-time. If this is a teaching job, then I continued because it was ITUDA group. I was teaching English ages from 4 years to 6 years, and when my contract would end. Any other teaching experience you have, you'll fill in here, 9.2. South Korea teaching experience, so if you were teaching in Korea before, including talk, you'll click all of this, say when your orientation was and where it was. If it was non-teaching experience, if you're non-teaching working experience, then you put your experience here. They want your employer's number and the title of your job. If you have more than that, then you'll obviously click here, and it will also take you to page 6. Salary, it even says here the EPIK pay scale can be found on the EPIK website, so you can go on the EPIK website if you don't understand what these levels mean. So here's the EPIK website. There's different cities and provinces. So Busan, Incheon, Daegu, and Gyeonggi are the first one. The other cities, Jeju, and other provinces. So if yours is not listed here, it's probably another city or another province. If you are an entry teacher with no experience, like me, you have a degree in a different field plus a TESOL, then you automatically come here. So if you have just a degree, you're 2.1 or 2.0. But if you have a degree plus a TESOL certificate, then your salary is already up. If you have a bachelor's degree in education or majored in education, plus a TESOL, then you get a higher salary. So you start at 2+. Or if you have a master's degree in any field, you also plus a TESOL, you also get up. So you can go through this and try to understand it, and your salary does increase every year. So I started here at 2, now I'm on 2+, next year I'm at 1, and so on and so on, and then at some point it just stops. So yeah, that's what it means. So basically your current qualification, you just have your degree, so it will be this one, and then your expected qualification when you started will be level 2. That's where they'll start paying you. Joint applicant, only if you're married. You'll put your partner's name here, put joint applicant, and you'll also put whether they're your husband or wife or child. Yeah, preferred location, I just put flexible because I do not or did not know Korea that well, so I was like, what's the point of choosing? But you can choose Busan or whatever place you want to go to, but it limits your chances of coming to Korea because you're only saying you want to go to one specific place. So I was really open, and I think that's why I got Jeju Island. You choose your ideal start date, when do you want to start, and then if you don't get that placement in that term, do you want them to notify you about the next application? I said yes. And then it goes on here, you tick if you were taught since 7th grade to university in English, yes. Have you ever terminated any teaching contract? You will read all of this. They want to know exactly, be specific and indicates the size and location of your tattoo. So I told him I have a tattoo of a travel lion as big as the palm of my hand, and it is located at the top of my right arm underneath my shoulder, and it will always be covered with clothing. So as you can see here, it is always covered, and they do want a picture to see it. Another thing I forgot to mention is that if you are applying with like a friend or someone you're not married to, cousin or whatever, you'll come to section 8. Are you applying with any other person excluding joint applicants? But if you've already if you're a married couple, then you only fill in that part. If not, then you put in their full name here, as well as their relation to you. They say they cannot guarantee placement in the same POE, but they will try. So most of the time people will be placed in the same city and have maybe different areas, but some people, they actually do try. Like, people will live literally next door each other, so it's good for couples. And then you have your medical things, read through it, yeah, just to check if you're sick. And then here, number 11, on average, how many alcoholic beverages do you consume per week? I said 1. Do you smoke? I said no. It's not a problem if you do smoke. I guess they just want to know. People do smoke. And then you have to acknowledge, read through all of this and acknowledge that you understand everything. Like, I am prepared to bring the equivalent of 1,000 USD to support my stay during the first month of my contract. I've mentioned this so many times in my videos. Currently 1,000 USD is almost like 16,500 rand, but you don't need that much. You can, I'd say, like, to be safe, to survive, you need like 11,000 rand to come here. But obviously, I don't know now, since there's that quarantine fee, since Corona. You read through all of this and you check, make sure that you understand. You write your name, your middle name, initial, your last name, and then you write again. Digital must be typed here, so you will type your name, full middle name, full last name, and then only when they ask you to send your documents when you've been accepted, you have to sign with an ink. So yeah, that's when I applied. So if you have more schools or more working experience, this is the page they were referring to. You can come fill in the rest on this section. And then it goes to personal essays. So all essays have to be between 250 to 300 words. First question says, answer both why you want to teach EFL and why you want to teach in Korea. So this is what I said. My father was a lecturer at the University of South Africa, UNISA, for many years. This inspired confidence in me as I was progressing through my schooling years. My dad always used to say there's nothing more fulfilling as seeing your students succeed in life, knowing you played a very important role in their life. This is when I started considering teaching as a career, with those simple yet profound words. I am currently an online EFL teacher. I teach Asian students. I learn so much from them on a daily basis. I want to make a difference in people's lives. I want to be fulfilled knowing that I contributed positively towards the future of others. So when I became aware of the opportunity of teaching abroad, I knew immediately that this was an opportunity not to be missed, especially considering that I could start immediately with the degree I have. It is in one's childhood years where they molded and instilled character traits that they will carry through the rest of their lives. If I could be the teacher that installs ambition in them and let them know that everything is within their reach, I'll feel complete. South Korea will definitely be a new experience in my life, which I am prepared to be part of, to offer my services to the best of my abilities and be excellent at what I do. I want to represent my country very well while learning a new culture filled with very vibrant individuals, make lifelong friends, and offer teaching lessons that offer the South Korean learners an excellent opportunity to understand and make use of the English language in their daily lives, whether in schooling, work, meetings, or in conversations. Okay, so that was my first part. Boom. Second essay, please explain your teaching philosophy. Okay. and it counts for you, which is super cool that you don't have to count your words. Education is a process of receiving or giving systematic instructions. My educational philosophy is, first and most importantly, is to treat everyone the same, be fair, positive, and consistent. This is a quote I resonate with because personally I think consistency is important. Reacting differently to similar scenarios will create confusion and an atmosphere of inequality amongst the students, resulting in them losing respect for the teacher. Learning a few things about your students, such as their names for instance, will show that you care. It is also important to keep your speaking tone subtle, and it is very important to keep your rules and instructions simple to understand. I believe simple rules help learners to follow through the topic and understand the subject matter much easier. Being an educator in the classroom means acknowledging that at that particular time period, your students are under your guidance. As much as teachers aren't the same in terms of their teaching styles, so are students in how they receive and process what they are being taught. As such, you will have to try different methods until you find one that works for you and keeps your lessons enjoyable, encouraging, and keeps learners disciplined. I remember how when growing up I used to admire teachers. They really instill hope in students, whether young or old. During my TESOL course, I learned a lot of things. Planning lessons got me so excited and got me back to the days when I started to learn English. I'm able to read, speak, and write English because of a teacher. And then my last question was, share your thoughts on encountering cultural differences. And I said, culture is the lifestyle, customs, and social behavior of a particular group of people. I'm proudly South African. I come from a country where encountering different cultures is a norm. There are 11 different cultures and languages. I went to a boarding school where I became roommates with various people from different African countries. I love meeting people from different backgrounds. I always ask them, how do you say hello in their language? I am eager to learn and most importantly respect every culture I encounter. Currently, I teach people from China, Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea, and I love learning new things from them. Being taught the language Afrikaans as a second language, I will definitely relate with what the students will be going through. Learning a second language was not easy and the teacher needed to be extremely patient. I'm not scared of being in a completely foreign environment, but rather excited. It is important to keep an open mind, even if you do not understand why people do a certain thing. I would rather ask and learn why it is done. I'm a very curious person, and this has always worked in my advantage when it comes to meeting new people. I have always seen people eating with chopsticks, and it has always fascinated me. To think in a few months I will also learn how to use them blows my mind. I am fully aware and acknowledge that there is a huge culture difference between South Korea and South Africa. I know tattoos are considered taboo to the country, especially for educators, and it is my duty to keep mine covered at all times to show respect to the Korean culture. I'm a very strong-willed individual who can overcome a lot of things. This is a challenge I believe will be a learning curve that I can handle. Then we'll ask you, where did you first hear about the EPIK program? I chose homepage, the EPIK thingy, friends or family, and YouTube. And then it's your lesson plan. So I put elementary, intermediate, 30 students. I'd say always put 30 because that's the number of students. It's always around like 27, 29, 30. My topic is, whose animal is this? Previous class I wrote in the previous lesson, learners learned names of different places animals live on: dogs, fish, bug, kitten, I have bug twice, ocean, house, deserts, jungle, vocabularies from last lesson which students are expected to remember. This lesson will introduce possessive pronouns and adjectives in a subtle manner. What do I need? I need flashcards, I need an A5 posters, I need something to stick the flashcards with, and I need crayons. By the end of this class, what will the students be able to do? Learners will learn how to correctly pronounce new vocabulary words. Learners will be able to identify possessive adjectives. Learners will be able to identify possessive pronouns, and learners will learn how to use them correctly. What are my key expressions? Whose animal is this? Or is this your dog? Is this your cat? Whatever animal in place. yes it is, or no it isn't, or it's mine, or it's not mine. What are my key vocabulary words? Genius, borrow, regular, confuse, consider, identify, possessive, fancy, admit, postpone. How long is my intro? My intro is 5 minutes. And then you write literally, good morning class, who can remember what we spoke about last time? Yes, animals. Remember these words? I have 4 dogs. Here is a photo of them. So I have an actual page with flashcards, so you have to do your actual lesson. So I have an extra page where I have 4 dogs, and these are my dogs. And then I said I'm going to show you videos. So then I say teacher. So this is a dog barking. So I show them this is a YouTube video link that goes to that dog barking, and then I say now show me how a dog barks, and then they will bark. This is a dog crying. Now show me how a dog cries. This is a dog scratching, wiggling its tail. A dog who wants belly rubs, chasing its tail, drinking water. So this is just a good warm-up. They see the video and then I watch them to do the same things. And then I have presentation, which is usually, or development is usually 30 minutes. So the presentation section, that's when flashcards will be printed out. After the warm-up, give each flashcard to a pair of students. They'll work in pairs. I'll give each pair mixed flashcards of the new words, all the different colors. If I'm talking too fast, you can pause the video and read everything. So I can see you all had fun during the warm-up. Now let's learn today's vocabulary words. This is what I will say. Genius. What is genius? Someone who is very clever. Borrow. Using some, so I have definitions of all my vocabulary words. And then the first pair of students, so please read out loud the first word. So they'll say, as they read, I'll check pronunciation. So the first word will be genius, and then I'll check. Well done, first pair. Can the whole class read the first word out loud? That's amazing. So the first pair will say genius, someone who is clever, and I'm like, well done. Then the whole class says genius, someone who is clever. Second pair, read the second word, same thing until all the vocabulary words are finished. And like I said, you can pause the video and go into detail if you want to see this. And then please look at the board to see examples of possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. My, your, his, her, our, their, its. Those are possessive adjective pronouns. Mine, yours, his, hers, ours is almost similar. Read them out loud. Then you go to practice. The first students, please create a sentence using any vocabulary word learned today and a possessive adjective or possessive pronouns. I'll write my example on the board. Example, he wants to borrow our books for his children. Second student, please create a sentence using any vocabulary word learned today. So same thing, but you can't use the ones which they've already used. And then I'll choose the students randomly or whatever. I didn't go into detail because it's not like it has to be detailed. It's just to show that you can lesson plan. I will ask random students until all words are learned. Who didn't get a chance to create a sentence, I'll ask random questions to the rest of the students to check understanding. So the first student, what was the last thing you borrowed? And to see if they understand what borrow means. Second student, who is a genius at your house? And then they can say, oh, a genius, my mom is genius or my dad is genius. So ask the rest of those depending on the time I have. Okay. And then production, this is where they have to do something. Activity 1, split the class into groups of 5s and 5 groups of 4s. Ask them to make a poster about whose animal is this as a title. Each group will be given a different animal. Then they will create a poster about the animal. They're required to draw and color in the animal and write 5 different sentences answering whose animal is this. Their answers should have a possessive adjective or pronoun. When they're done, they will present their posters to the class. Activity 2, while the students are working on activity 1, I will write the paragraph on the board. and I will ask random students to identify possessive adjective and possessive pronouns and underline them. So this is what I will write. My fish is fat. Cindy says she doesn't like. So this whole paragraph, and then they'll come up and underline she and our and all of that, all those possessive and possessive pronouns and adjectives. And then conclusion is also 5 minutes because the class is usually that long. Show them 5 tongue twisters and see who can say them without missing the pronunciation. We'll also take turns in saying them. First round will be slow and it will go faster and faster. Students will enjoy it. So number 1, flat fat fish, flat fat fish, flat fat fish. 2, dogs don't dance, dogs don't dance, dogs don't dance, dogs don't dance. And then yeah, my students actually do love tongue twisters. So that's the wrap up. So now it says evaluation of objectives. While teaching the vocabulary words, make sure all students are paying attention, move around. I do this during the practice phase. Interact with various students, talk to as many students as I can, guide children as they create the posters. When playing the tongue twister game, I'll point out students who catch on the game quick and those who don't seem to understand. Next lesson, I'll focus on those learners. Next class, I just said tomorrow, we're going to talk about having a snack party. Sweets, lollipop, and chocolates. Think about what's your favorite snack. And that's it. That was my application, and as promised, I will post more lessons in detail so you get an example, an idea of, you know, what lessons are like. If you want to teach in middle school and high school, unfortunately I do not teach those schools, so I'm only going to focus on elementary. So I will post an online lesson that I did of my 3rd graders, and then I'll do an in-class lesson of my 3rd graders of how I teach them now, post-corona. Yeah, then I'll have grade 4 online, 4 in class, 5 online, 5 in class, 6 online, 6 in class. So yeah, I don't know which video you want first, the lesson plans first or the documents that are required to apply. So let me know in the comment section below. That will be my next video, either depending on how many people want me to post the documents required first or the lesson plans. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, make sure that you comment down below. I'll make sure that I answer. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to check out my couples channel with my boyfriend. I'll link it somewhere here. It's super cool, like we do fun things. If you love, then definitely subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much really for all your subscriptions. Road to 5k. We're on 4.2 now. Yeah, and I'm really excited. I'll see you next time. Peace.